What's up, everybody? This is your boy, Mr. Pound for Pound is in the house, and I am chilling with the one and only Mr.
G-Funk in the house, baby.
In the house. We're doing a collaboration video on the event coming up. Everybody already knows about it. Tell them about it, man.
Oh, you know it's going to go down. One of the biggest pay-per-views I've ever seen in my 20-plus years of watching boxing. The Mayweather, Canelo pay-per-view. I mean, this card is stacked in every way, and I'm just real excited for it. I can't wait to see it.
You know, I'm excited too. I woke up crying the other night thinking about this card, and it felt good. But we're just gonna, quickly go over some of the fights and what we think about the fights. You know, we're bringing our personalities together. We've known each other for a long time, and around the just life and the boxing circuit, and analysts and analyzing boxing and all this shit.
Oh man, we've had several fights that we've watched together throughout the years. We've had several debates, shouting matches, whatever you want to call it. We've been back and forth, but hey, that's the beauty of it to me.
That's what makes it good.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna get into it right here. We're gonna go over the whole fight card, and hopefully you guys enjoy it.
All right, so we're gonna start things off. We're gonna talk about Ishai Smith versus Carlos Molina, and I'm gonna let Mr. G-Funk start this out. We're gonna go ahead and tell me, a little bit about what you would think about this fight and these fighters. I really don't give it two shits about either one of these guys. You tell me how you feel.
Okay, well, for me, the whole card all these fights are important, especially at the 154-pound division. All these guys are ranked highly in the top 10, pretty much all in the top 5. I've been hearing rumblings about Trout versus Lara, which will be another huge fight for the hardcore fans.
Yeah, that'd be a big fight.
Huge. And if they could add that fight to the card, I mean, my God, it just gets much better. But as far as Molina versus Ishai Smith, I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm not too impressed with either one of these guys' styles. Carlos Molina reminds me of a Mexican Bernard Hopkins. He holds a lot. He makes the fight ugly, but, he finds ways to win. Ishai Smith is a guy, like I said, I'm not really impressed with the body of work that he's had or his style. I know he just beat K9 Bundridge from the Contender or whatever it was.
Okay.
And for the belt, what has he got? The IBF light middleweight title. So I think at the end of the day, for me, Carlos Molina's style, he's a hard guy to look good against. I think he's fought much better competition in the division. He's fought Kirkland in a highly controversial fight. He's fought, I know he fought Edislandi Lara, and they fought to a draw. And he might have one more good person on his record, but Cintron, yeah. But I don't think too much of Cintron either.
Too. Yeah, it's true.
But for me, at the end of the day, I think that Carlos Molina's style, like I said, is hard to look good against. And like I said, I'm not a believer in Ishai Smith, man. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make it quick with this one. I'm gonna take Carlos Molina in a 12-round decision.
That's Mr. G-Funk. This is Mr. Pound for Pound right here. I'm just gonna give you my quick views. Yeah, pretty much. I'll tell you what I feel. You know what I mean? I don't care about no Ishai Smith, and I don't care about no Carlos Molina. I'll tell you why. Mr. Molina I agree with you. He seems to have the better resume, pedigree, record, whatever. He should win this fight, right? But to me, I mean, I don't know this guy. You know what I mean? And and the reason why is he's 20. He won 21 fights with 5 losses, 6 knockouts, 2 draws.
Not a good record.
I don't want to know that record. And this is why I don't know Carlos Molina, because I don't know this guy. Ishai Smith, I know him, heard his name before, Sugar Shay, whatever. He's not a sugar, never will be. He's a Ishai, but never going to be a Sugar Shay anything. I think Ishai Smith is definitely going to lose this fight as well. I'm going to agree, Mr. G-Funk, on this one. I am going with Carlos Molina to win this bout for the IBF light middleweight title. Now, on to the next bout. We are going to talk about the possibilities and the potential of Trout versus Lara. I mean, what do you think about that fight, Mr. G-Funk? Tell me what you think.
Oh, I love this fight. For the hardcore fans like ourselves and everybody else out there who's into boxing like we are in the YouTube boxing community, Trout versus Lara is a huge fight. I think to the casual fans who would be, going to the fight party or what have you, probably wouldn't even pay attention to this fight, but this is a fight that I'm truly interested in. Both two southpaws, both very crafty. These guys are just good, all around good boxers to me. What I like about Lara is he's very well schooled in the Cuban boxing style. I really like the way that those guys box. A lot of people don't, but I like the craft that they put out there. Lara's a guy who's fought a lot of good opponents. He's fought Molina to a draw. He beat Paul Williams in a highly controversial loss that he had. He fought Matthysse to a draw, and he just had a hell of a fight with Angulo.
Yeah,
ended up knocking him out after he went down twice.
Yep.
And as far as Trout goes, we know that he had just had a fight with the Canelo Alvarez, which was a good close fight.
It was a great fight.
Canelo came out on top. Trout is another guy who's hard to look good against. He's got a weird, awkward style, southpaw. I think this is going to be, like I said, for the casual fans, they probably would just, sleep through this fight. But, you got to appreciate good boxing when you see it, man. And both of these guys are good boxers to me. I think I'm going to go with Lara in this fight because I think that he's just a little more sharp than Trout. Picks his shots a little bit better, and I think defensively he's much better as well. Plus, I think he's got a little bit more pop in his shots. Austin Trout is a guy who's a high-volume puncher, throws a lot of jabs, doesn't really put a lot on his punches, he does have good power at times. Like, I remember when he fought Cotto, I think he hurt him a few times in that fight.
Yeah. Shook him up pretty good.
Yeah, he just doesn't commit to his punches enough throughout the fight for me. And plus, he gives a lot of opportunity to get countered from all the punches that he throws. We saw that against Canelo. Canelo did an excellent job of staying patient, picking his shots, and countering him in between a lot of those soft punches he was throwing, those jabs.
That's the Canelo right there.
And and I think that at the end of the day, Lara to me is the guy who's going to be countering him with good, hard, straight left hands. And I think at the end of the day, he's going to win this fight.
Well, Mr. Pound for Pound in the house here. Gonna tailgate on that. Trout versus Lara. The potential of that fight is big. I would love to see that fight on the card. It's already a stacked card, like we've been saying. The Trout Lara fight, I think, would be a very good fight for numerous reasons, as my friend has already given to you. As far as prediction, what I would probably say, if that fight was possible, this is a throw in the air type of, situation right now. So nothing's set in stone. But if I was to make a prediction now, I would probably go Trout. I'm going to have to disagree with you here a little bit. But I would go Trout. And the only reason why I say I'd go Trout, Lara is sharp. He is definitely from the Cuban boxing world. And, we know they're solid. But Trout he's a little bit of a beast. I gave him a little bit more credit after the Canelo fight. I didn't think he was as good as he was. I thought when he got hurt in the 7th round, I thought that was it. I thought when Canelo iced him with that straight right, that when he got Zab Judah legged and, went down, I thought, that's it. But, Trout showed his versatility, hung in there, got Canelo tired. And I think Canelo Alvarez is a good pre-fight stepping stone instead of an Angulo. Because, Lara's last fight was Angulo. Trout's last fight, Canelo. I would probably go based on the competition. I'm going to go with Trout. He has a herky-jerky weird style, but Lara is very much the sharp counterpuncher, so I don't know. That would be a close match, but if I had to pick a pick, I'd go Trout. We're going to talk now.
Before you go to the next, I just want to make a point.
All right.
This is what we do here when we disagree with each other. Now, the thing that you said, I have to disagree with you on the Angulo thing that you brought up.
Okay.
Now, here's I think the difference. With an Angulo against a Lara, it's different from Canelo because Angulo he's very aggressive, comes forward, and if you watch that fight, you can see he was just, he applied a lot of pressure on Lara all night long. Mm-hmm. Canelo's a guy who won't do that.
He's prettier.
Yeah, Trout's a guy who won't do that either. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think I'm deciding to go with Lara at the end of the day because I don't think either one of these guys are going to put that kind of pressure on Lara if he was to fight either Trout or Canelo. They're both a little bit more, kind of a back foot type fighters. You know what I'm saying? Not coming forward and head hunting and trying to knock your fucking head off like Angulo would. So that's why I would disagree with you on that. But if you take Trout, I got no problem with that because I do like Trout's style as well. He's very good, but I'm gonna go with Lara in this one.
You know, I gotta disagree on that. No, it's fine. No, just kidding. But no, what I was gonna say about pressure, Angulo is a pressure fighter, but so was Paul Williams, and you know we saw what happened there.
I thought Williams got.
You thought he won the fight?
I thought Williams got outclassed in that fight myself.
Well, you know, it's an L on the record.
Yeah.
Anyways, on to the next fight. We're gonna talk about Garcia versus Matthysse, a very fun fight. This will be a fun one to talk about. And let's talk about it. I'll start this one off. Garcia versus Matthysse. All right. We saw these guys' last fights. You know, Matthysse went in there against Lamont Peterson. We all know, you know, Peterson had some problems in the past and needed a good comeback fight. But, you know, it didn't happen that night. What did you see that night? It was good. It was a good fight, but it only lasted 3 rounds.
Yeah, what I saw was one guy, Matthysse, who was right now, you know, extremely confident in his abilities and his power.
Absolutely.
And I mean, you could kind of tell from the beginning of the fight that he was just, you know, he's like, I'm just gonna come in here, I'm gonna just blast this guy out, you know.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm gonna just do what I do. I mean, I'm gonna get hit, but you know that's part of the game.
Correct.
But you could just tell he had no respect for Peterson from the gate, and it caught up to him, man. He looked like he really rattled Peterson to me early.
Yeah,
Peterson was already out of his game plan after the first round.
He was.
Decided to stand toe to toe with this guy, and he paid the price for it, man.
Definitely paid the price. That's what you don't want to do. I mean, you know, went down in the second round, twice in the third round. What are you gonna do? You know, don't stand in front of the guy and don't bullshit. You know what I mean? If you're gonna box, you're gonna box. You gotta stay away from power punchers. Look at the record. Speaks for itself. All the boxers out there. If a guy comes in there with well, he's got 34-0, 32 now, but he was 33 and 31 knockouts. I mean, if you see a record like that, you stay away from the guy.
Exactly.
I mean, get on your bike. Anyways, Danny Garcia, solid fighter. I mean, coming off his last fight with Zab Judah, you know, he had the 4-round wash of Eric Morales. I mean, the good fight with Amir King Khan. He's the biggest con in boxing ever. I wouldn't say ever, but he's pretty bad. But anyway, Zab Judah, let's talk about that fight. That was a good fight. I mean, that was, you know, Zab is like Tyson at 50 years old. You know, he's got 4 rounds and that's it. And you know pretty much that after 4, Zab is out. You know what I mean? Like, I would see Zab fighting in a fucking alley with a bum. And if that fight goes past 12 minutes, I might go with the bum. I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, man, that's a good way to put it there.
Zab is unreliable.
Zab's definitely a 4-round fighter, man. We know once he gets past a certain point, you know, it's easy street from there if you're an elite fighter, you know. And he's been exposed more than once on the big stage. And Garcia, you know, took advantage of that.
Do you think he sees shades of Zoo? I mean, you know what I mean?
He might still see Kasha Zoo standing in front of him.
Yeah,
now.
like when he gets tired. I'm thinking this. When he gets like round 4 or 5, he's like, oh, my legs are getting tired. He probably sees that replay of him on Zoo. You don't want to end up like that.
Yeah, he was doing the reverse moonwalk after that right hand from Zoo.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you know, Garcia, I really like Garcia as a fighter. To me, he's a guy who, just like Canelo Alvarez, is very young, very gifted. From Philadelphia, you know, they're tough guys.
Yep.
But like I was saying, I referred to Canelo because every time you see Canelo come into the ring, he's, you know, he improves on something. Just a little something every time. Same thing with Danny Garcia, I've noticed with every fight. I see something just a little bit different. But the one thing that I really, really like about Garcia is something that a lot of fighters don't have, is that he has a well-timed left hook, and it's got a lot of power behind it.
Yeah, it's sharp and it stings.
Yes,
you know?
it's a game changer, man. And to me, the power between Matthysse and Garcia, I don't know if you'd agree with me on this, but it's kind of even. What do you think?
I'm gonna disagree a little there. You know, I'm gonna disagree, and I'll tell you why. Okay. Well, let's look at the records here. Let's just do a little thing here. Nah. We're not going to look at the records. Actually, let's look at the records. I just noticed something very interesting here. Okay, they both fought common opponent in Zab Judah. Okay, at some point, you guys want to find out? Go look it up because I had to look it up right now. And it's interesting because on Matthysse's record, it looks like they fought to a split decision.
He had a loss to Zab Judah.
He had a loss to Zab Judah in a split decision 12-rounder. And that was disputed. I do remember that fight.
A lot of people thought that Matthysse was robbed in that fight.
Yeah, I forgot that fight.
Me.
I forgot that fight.
But the one thing, I'm glad you brought Judah up because that's the one thing that I think a lot of people are overlooking in this fight is that even though they thought that Zab Judah robbed him, they also thought that Devin Alexander robbed him as well. Mm-hmm. But those fights were close, man. You know, they were close either way. Even if you thought Matthysse won it, it was a close fight. Mm-hmm. So I think that that's something that should be mentioned here in this fight because Garcia, his fight with Zab Judah, to me, it wasn't close.
Correct.
I mean, Judah hung in there. He hung tough. Had a little late round surge, but you know, it wasn't like when he fought against Matthysse. You know, those fights were close for a reason, and I think it was because, you know, when Judah's good, you know, he's got good footwork, good movement. You know, he has a very good jab. Same thing with Devin Alexander. So little boxing things like that can give Matthysse some trouble. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. That, you know, boxing and movement gives him trouble. I would also say that I believe that Zab Judah did better against Matthysse probably because he's closer to his size. He's about 5'6.5", Matthysse. Zab Judah's a short guy. Danny Garcia is almost 5'9", so taller, and we might want to take that into account in this fight. You know what I mean? Because maybe that played into the part of Zab. I mean, Zab got banged. Yes. You know, I'm not even going to try to be scientific. He got served up pretty nice. And, you know, a lot of it was reach and just counter punching and just him being Zab, you know, just off. You know what I mean? After 4, you're out. And, but, you know, time's going down. I mean, we're going on the 18-minute mark here on this video. I'm going to go ahead and give you my quick prediction on this fight, and then we'll go ahead and go over Mr. G-Funk. Quick prediction. I am going to actually go with... I'm gonna go with Matthysse, man. I mean, Matthysse got more power. He's got, you know, like you said, he's on the confidence roller coaster right now. I think he's got it going. I'm definitely gonna go with Matthysse. He's just got more power. I think Danny Garcia is still young, 25 years old. I see him, you know, walking into something possibly, but there's the height issue. But I'm gonna stick to my prediction with Matthysse.
You know, I'm actually gonna have to agree with you on this one here. I'm gonna roll with Matthysse on this one, and based off of what I had already said about the Devin Alexander and the Zab Judah type style, those guys give you a lot of movement, you know, and that's something that Danny Garcia doesn't do. You know, he's still real flat-footed a lot of the times during the fight. Although, like I said, he does improve on little things. Like I do like the right hand that he was throwing against Zab Judah. You know, before that he was just a left hook guy. Mm-hmm. So he did add something to the toolbox, you know?
Correct.
But I just think that, like I said, he's still a little bit flat-footed, and that's one thing you don't want to do is stand with a guy like Matthysse, because I do believe that he has just a little bit more power than Garcia. It's close, but I think he got a little bit more power. And if you're going to stand with this guy, I mean, a lot of people don't stand with him, you know?
Correct,
so
absolutely.
That's why I'm going to take Matthysse by maybe a late round knockout, or it could go 12.
I want to stand with him. I want to stand with I'm Mr. Pound for Pound. I want to stand with Matthysse. Send me the contract.
Let's do it. I'll be in the corner. But yeah, I'm going to roll with Matthysse on this one. Close fight, though. Close fight.
I feel the same way. Matthysse on this one. All right, everybody, that's part 1. Catch the part 2. We're just going to do a quick one about Mayweather, Canelo, and come back. Peace.